guys, this week I'm going to be doing a long-term review of the Hourglass Illusion Tinted Moisturizer. This is in the shade Shell, and it is in the old packaging. I got this in gratis, and that's why I got it, because they changed the packaging. So this now comes in a squeezy tube, which is good because this doesn't come out of the pump. I'm going to be super gross, and I'm just going to have to get it off of this every day. So anyway, I'm going to be wearing this every day this week, and hopefully I can film at least most of them so that by the end of this video I can give you a really well-informed review of what I think of it. It is currently Sunday afternoon. It is about 5 in the afternoon, so I'm not going to be wearing this for a super long time. Today I'm going to be applying this with the Sephora Collection Mini 55 Pro Airbrush. This is just a big fluffy foundation brush. It is a little bit dirty, but that's also not that unusual for me. And I'm not going to be using any foundation primer today. It has a scent to it, and I definitely smell it while I'm putting it on. It's not unpleasant, but it's also not like super, it's not like vanilla-y or sweet, or it smells kind of, honestly it smells a little chemical-y, like paint or something. But this could be an older bottle. That's hard to say for sure. And scents don't usually typically bother me that much. So if that is a problem for you, I would just give it a sniff in store before you bring it home with you. So it's not super full coverage. I do feel like it doesn't quite cover up all of my redness in spots where I have a little bit going on. And it does seem like, I'll get a little bit out of focus so you can maybe see the color better. It matches okay, but I feel like it's maybe just a little bit more yellow than my natural skin is. But the finish is very natural dewy, which I kind of like. It's not like greasy dewy, it's just really healthy skin dewy. But if that's not your jam, don't do it. I am not going to set this with powder. I'm going to be doing some other stuff for the next couple hours, and then before I take it off this evening, I will check back in with you and let you know how I feel about it, first impressions. It is now 9:30. I've had this foundation on for about 5 hours, and it is very shiny. To be fair, I didn't put on any primer or any powder at all, and it is a tinted moisturizer, so that shouldn't really surprise me, but it's something good to know that the foundation by itself on my skin is only good if I'm having a very dry skin day, maybe if I'm going to be spending a lot of time outside in the cold, but I do need to be planning on surrounding it with more mattifying, powdery products. So I will be back up early in the morning and we will do this whole thing again. Good morning. It is Monday morning at 5:38 in the morning. Mondays are my long days, so wish me luck with this one. Because today is such a long day and now I know that this foundation is a little bit dewy for me, I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Complexion Mattifying Prep Gel because this will hopefully help it last longer before all of that oil starts to break through. I'm going to go in with the same brush that I used yesterday just for purposes of wanting to properly test what is making the difference here. I don't want to change a primer and an application on the same day and then decide that it doesn't apply as well and not know which reason it is. So I'm just putting that on with the same brush over a primer. So there it is on. It went on pretty well over that primer. Actually, it looks perfectly fine. I am going to go ahead and set this with powder and do the rest of my face. I will check back in with you as soon as it's done so you can see what it looks like freshly done. And then I will probably be able to check back in with you twice today since it's such a long day. So here's the completed face for day number 2. It is currently 6:03. I set this just through the T-zone with the NYX HD powder, and then I also sprayed everything down with Mist and Fix when I was done. So I will check back in sometime this afternoon before I go to teach after I'm done at Sephora, and then I will check back in tonight and let you know how this holds up. I will probably have to touch it up in the afternoon is what I'm guessing, but hopefully it still looks okay at that point, so I will see you then. It is now 1:30, which means I've had this on for, oh god, how many hours? I didn't count. I have had this foundation on for 8 hours, and it looks so much better than it did yesterday. It is still a little bit shiny. It doesn't look as bad as it does in the viewfinder in real life. Right now it's a very like natural, glowy skin kind of shine, but I am going to powder it with a little bit of a powder foundation just to make sure that it makes it through the next 8 hours, because I'm not done teaching until 8 o'clock tonight, so it has to make it quite a long way today. But I am very impressed by how it has held up so far, although maybe the shininess could be like this much less, but realistically it's not bad at all. So there we are, de-shinified a little bit. Hopefully it makes it through the rest of the day okay, and I will check back in with you one more time tonight. Monday night at 9 o'clock, which means that I have had on this foundation for like 16, 17 hours, something ridiculous like that. It is absurd. To be fair, it is mostly worn off through the center of my face, but it has worn off in a very reasonable way. It feels kind of like it's almost just melted into just pure moisturizer, like all of the pigment is gone, but I still look like shiny and healthy, and I mean, probably a little too shiny, but realistically my skin is pretty shiny anyway. So I feel like I look very healthy and not overly made up, which I always feel like after a really long day, my makeup either goes super cakey and like, oh my god, she has on so much makeup, or it kind of goes this direction, and if I have to choose one, this is the way that I would rather it look. I actually had a student this evening, my very last student, she was like, wait, I mean, I knew you were wearing makeup like eyeliner, but that's really probably all I would have guessed you were wearing, just like eye makeup and lipstick. And I was like, nah, girl, this is a full face, so Mondays are definitely the true test for me. If any foundation can make it through a Monday, I know that it is an excellent long-wearing foundation, and to be fair, this is not supposed to be a long-wearing foundation, so I'm really not surprised by how it held up. I just know that for me, it's not a Monday foundation. It is Tuesday. Hello, welcome. I'm going to put this on today with a sponge, and then I'm going to be setting it with powder because I want to see how it applies with something other than a brush today, and then I want to see how it holds up with just powder but no primer. Using a sponge is going to apply just a little bit more sheer than using a brush, but my skin's looking okay today, so I'm actually alright with that. Typically, I really don't have very many skin problems. I just have a little bit of a redness through the center of my face, which really I mostly attribute just to being fair. I think that's a really hard thing to avoid when you have fair skin. So, for the most part, I just really want to make sure that I don't look like a big red mess by the end of the day, and I do have a little bit of oiliness, but again, it's not too bad, so I think that this will be a good amount for me. I think that looks so natural and pretty. It sits on the skin really well, and you really can't tell that there's anything there. It just looks like I have very healthy skin. So here's the full look. It is 3:15, which means actually I need to leave in like 30 seconds, so is good. I am happy with it. I powdered with the Innisfree powder, the loose one, and I really like how this looks right now. It looks still natural, but it is definitely not glowy at all. It's pretty matte. So, sorry, I'm looking in mirrors to make sure that that is an accurate statement. I don't have on any blush, contour, highlight, nothing, so my cheeks are just foundation and powder, so I will see what they look like when I get back this evening. Tuesday night, it is now 8:51, so almost 9 o'clock. I put this on around 3, so 6 hours of wear. I think it looks really good. Like, I'm so happy with my skin right now. It's just the tiniest bit shiny right here, yeah? And just a little bit up here, but like natural, normal skin shine, not greasy, oily skin shine. It looks like real skin. Like, it looks like I just have really nice, really nice skin, which makes me really happy. And honestly, I feel like a lot of the time with red lips, I want more coverage because I just feel like red lips when I'm kind of pinky in here looks bad. But I'm really happy with this look today, and I'm really happy with this lipstick as well. This is NARS Cruella. A+ from me, like, beautiful. But yeah, I'm so pleased with this. So I feel like this is a really great foundation for shorter days. Really good. I'm very impressed. Hopefully that stays true for the next couple days. But as of right now, this is definitely sticking around. Hello, it's Wednesday. I'm about to put so much dry shampoo in my hair and have a giant, huge smoothie. Let's do this. Seriously, I just put so much dry shampoo in my hair. It's fine. I'm gonna have to wash this tonight or in the morning, but for now, Mama's lazy, so moving on. I want to see how this foundation works over the Benefit Professional because this tends to be my favorite / go-to primer when I don't have a real opinion about what I want to use. So I want to see how it looks over this, and I also want to see how it applies with the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush because this is one of my more favorite brushes, but it's very different from the Sephora brush I used earlier this week. So this is my recipe for today. My recipe for this, on the other hand, was basically just every single fruit frozen and then blended up. I think there's blueberries, strawberries, bananas, apples. I'm probably forgetting something. And then a huge handful of kale and spinach and a couple spoonfuls of yogurt. And it's delicious. I just repainted my nails today. This is A. England Tristram. Anya, I don't know if you follow her, but you should. She does a lot of panning and de-stashing, that kind of stuff, which she's kind of my big motivator right now in projects like this, because I hate you, Anya, but also I love you. Anyway, she posted a big de-stash of her nail polish the other day, which is crazy, because I've known her for years and years and years as a nail polish person, but she mentioned A. England, and I was like, I haven't worn A. England in ages, so I put some on, and it totally stands up. It's so beautiful. That just applied like 20,000 times better on my nose than anything ever applies on my nose, actually. I feel like things always look really weird when I put them on top of my nose, and then I have to kind of go over them with my finger to make sure that they lay flat, but that actually looks really good. I got a little more on my hand than I needed, so I'm going to see if I can build it up just a little bit to be just a little bit less sheer, because this is a pretty sheer coverage, so I want to see if I can build it up a little bit. When I build it up a little bit more, you can see it's just a little more yellow than my neck. When I back up, I think it makes it a little more obvious, so I'm going to take what's left on my brush down just a little bit. I'm going to go finish the rest of my face, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Here's my finished look for day 4, aka Wednesday, aka smoothie day. I did put on a little bit of blush today. This is the Makeup Geek in, I think, Spellbound, and my lipstick is a Clinique... Oh, there it is. My lipstick is Clinique Chubby Stick Intense in Mightiest Maraschino, and I like it so far. It's very moisturizing, but we'll see how it lasts through my day. This is what it looks like at the end of day 4. At the end of getting ready for day 4, it is currently 2:43, which means I need to head out the door. I will be back this evening to let you know how it looks, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Wednesday night, it is almost midnight, and I put this on, what, about 2:30, so it's been on about 9-ish hours, which is about as long as my days are probably ever want to be, and it is, again, quite shiny, as it has been every other day this week, and looking at it quite close, it has built up a little bit in my nose. I feel a little bit stuffy today, so I've probably touched that more than twice. It's worn off pretty well right down the center of my nose, but then there's a little bit of it still here. I'm gonna kind of wipe at it. And it is transferring onto my finger a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but I can see it not being there anymore. So I would say at this point it is definitely not transfer proof. I don't know if it ever really was. Yeah, you can see that that is all gone now. If I were to powder it at this point, would it still be wearable? So if I had to just touch it up really quickly with powder, would that be okay? Probably it would. I don't think, let me grab my mirror again. I mean, the coverage is not where it was 9 hours ago, that's for sure, but that did at least get rid of the shine. I think that I could handle that, but I would probably not recommend it. So that lasted acceptably well, but not definitely like blowing my mind well. I have one more thing that I want to try with this tomorrow, and then I will probably call it, so I'll be right back one more time. Welcome to Thursday, aka day 5 of the Illusion Tinted Moisturizer. Today I'm going to be mixing this in with the Cover FX Custom Cover Drops in the shade In 10. Hopefully this will help counteract a little bit of the yellowness of the Illusion Tinted Moisturizer and maybe make it a little bit lighter as well, because it is just a tiny bit too dark and just a tiny bit too yellow for me right now, which means it would be a good match in the spring, fall, and probably just a little bit too light in the summer, but I do have a couple different shades of these, so if that's a good way to correct it throughout the year, then that's good to know. And if they don't work well together at all, also important to know. So I have some on the back of my hand here, and I'm going to put maybe 2 drops in there. I have already put a little bit of Benefit Professional just sort of down the center of my face, forehead, chin, and then across my cheeks. I forgot to say, it is currently 1 o'clock. My husband just got home from a haircut, and I think we're going to go downtown and get a late lunch. I don't teach until 4, so we can go do that. It's nice out today. It's like 55 or something. So I'm wearing a maxi skirt because 55 in January is a good day. I'm very excited. I think it's supposed to be 60 the next couple days, so it's going to be a good weekend. But I think we're going to go downtown and take Ralph and sit outside somewhere. I feel like this is giving me a lot better coverage than normal, but I also feel like it's settling more into pores across the center of my face. So I'm going to go get my Beauty Blender wet and tap that over the top and see if I can smooth it all out. That looks so much better. I would say that means maybe these don't mix the bestest best with the Cover FX drops, but it's easy to fix. This fixes pretty much everything. So I'm going to take what's left here and just put it across my chest because I just got out of the shower, so I'm very pink, so that'll hopefully even things out just a little bit. Let me go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and I'll be right back. So there's the finished look for day 5. Again, I used Benefit Professional. I mixed the Tinted Moisturizer with the Custom Effects Cover Drops, and then I set them with Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana, which is an illuminating powder, so it didn't take away any shine, so it still has about the same finish, but I'm hoping that will maybe help it stay at the same level of shine for a longer period of time. We will see. Also, since I'm not using the same palette anymore, today I put Makeup Geek shadows on my eyes, and the lipstick is the L'Oreal Lilac in Lucky Charm. I'm going to head out to lunch. It is currently 1:25, and I will see you again later. Hello everyone, welcome to the end of Thursday night, the end of day 5, and I think the end of this experiment with the Hourglass Illusion Tinted Moisturizer. I really think that this is a very special case foundation for me. I think if you have dry skin, you're going to love this. I think if you have dry skin, you just want a tinted moisturizer, I think this is exactly the product for you. That being said, I haven't used that many other tinted moisturizers for dry skin, so I can't really compare it to that many others, but I definitely do like it for that, and the new packaging is much better. So please don't judge this based on this packaging and how I have to use it. So that being said, I do have more combination skin, so I'm quite oily down the center of my face and pretty much normal in the outside parts of my cheeks, kind of out here. So basically everything out here is normal and everything here is oily. And this just doesn't play that well with oil, which makes sense, honestly. It's not like that's surprising. It does say it is a tinted moisturizer. It's also not quite the right color for me, but because it is relatively sheer, it's workable. It's not something that I'm like, oh my god, that's the wrong color. I could see this being a kind of foundation that I would reach for on just a Saturday afternoon when I need to run out and like pick something up from Target and get a couple things at groceries and then run home. I don't ever see myself reaching for it on a day when I want to be completely full-faced. I mean, it works, right? But it's definitely not my favorite choice for that. It's not going to be a thing that I will reach for when I have a day that's longer than maybe 6 or 8 hours, which granted is not most of my days. So ultimately it's not really a problem for me. I'm talking with my hands down here, like you can see it. But I do think that for now it has a place in my collection. I really don't have that many more sheer-like foundations. So I think that for now I'm going to hold on to it, and once I get through the rest of my foundations and I see if there's something else that fills that spot for me in a better way, maybe then I will destash this, but for now I think it makes sense in my collection. So that brings us to the end of my very first week-long review of a foundation. I do plan on doing more of these throughout the next several months. I don't know if I'll necessarily do one every single week, but you might get a little bit bored of that. But I do plan on doing these regularly so that I can start to get a hold of what's in my stash and what I think of foundations on my personal skin. And I can't promise you that what I have is the most in-depth review of how this foundation will work for everyone, but I can tell you that it will be an in-depth review of how it works for me. And hopefully once I get through several foundations, that means that you can compare it to how other foundations work for me, and you'll be able to know how they would relatively work for you. Is my hope. I will cross my fingers on that one. So thanks for sticking with me through that, and I will see you again very soon. Bye, guys!